I have folded the fabric for the back half of the dress twice to make 4 layers and simultaneously cut out the face and the lining. I use the fabric left after cutting the front half of the dress. I mark 63 centimeters from the edge and draw the waistline. The length of the finished dress is supposed to be 60 centimeters. I add another 2 centimeters for turning the hem. By the way, you should always add another centimeter for the prominence of the buttocks. In other words, the length of the finished dress would be 61 centimeters and not 60 centimeters. I arrange the pieces of the back using the waistline as a guide. I pin the pieces down. I never use the selvage of the fabric, not even for the seam allowance. Remember that the back will be cut through to the very bottom. I draw vertical cutting lines down to the bottom. I don't try to narrow the dress. If you want to do it, you will need to make a vent or a slit in the seam at the back. As for me, I prefer to do without it. Note: you should make a notch to mark the length of the zipper at this stage. Remember about the seam allowance at the top. I cut out the pieces. And I make all notches. These notches will help you align the pieces. Besides, they will also come in handy when you start draping the dress, sewing those stripes onto the base. I have cut out all pieces of the dress. Let me repeat. I cut the back pieces simultaneously with a full-length lining. The pieces are 63 centimeters long down from the waistline. Such is the length of the skirt, with extra centimeters added for the hem and the buttocks. I have cut the front half of the dress simultaneously with an iron-on piece and a same fabric interfacing for the cups. The interfacing stops 4 centimeters below the under-bust line. The base of the dress stops 56 centimeters below the waistline. It will be supplemented with a fabric stripe to finish the bottom of the dress. Now I can measure and cut out several draping stripes. There are 5 narrow and 3 wide stripes on the sketch. I will make the narrow stripes 6 centimeters wide when ready, and I will add another 2 centimeters for the overlap. In short, the stripe is supposed to be cut with the following width: 6 centimeters plus 2 centimeters times 2 equals 16 centimeters. I will add another 0.5 centimeters and leave it at 16.5 centimeters to account for the thickness of the fold line. The cutting process is very simple. I mark 16.5 centimeters and tear it off. I need 5 such stripes, but I will only prepare 3 for now, because the width of the dress varies. For example, it is narrower in the waist, and 3 stripes may actually be enough. I can always prepare more if the need comes. How did I determine the width of the stripes? You can see it clearly on the central front piece. The narrow stripes start at the under-bust line, and you are supposed to fit 5 of them into the area that stops at the hip line. There is 30 centimeters between the under-bust line and the hip line. Therefore, the width of the ready narrow stripe should be 6 centimeters. The wide stripes start at the hip line and go to the very bottom edge, 60 centimeters below the waistline. There is 41 centimeters between the hip line and the bottom edge. Therefore, each stripe is supposed to be 14 centimeters wide when ready. The width of a ready wide strap should be 14 centimeters. Again, I add another 2 centimeters for the overlap. Therefore, I need to cut it out with the following width: 14 centimeters plus 2 centimeters times 2 equals 32 centimeters. I will add another 0.5 centimeters and leave it at 32.5 centimeters to account for the thickness of the fold line. I tear off one stripe that is 32.5 centimeters wide and 150 centimeters long, the full width of the fabric. The draping process will show if it's enough for all 3 stripes. I bought a total of 2.5 meters of fabric, and I still have another 0.5 meters left. It will be used for cutting the shoulder strap.